Hi guys, it's Tamra, the Judeo-Christian medium. Oh, I probably sound very serious right now. This is a very serious topic. I've really struggled making this video. I've struggled all day. I feel like, and I've never said this before on camera, but I've struggled with this. I'm working on it. You all know I have my spiritual team, but I felt spiritually attacked today. And I felt like I've just been like pushing through mud, trying to make this, just not being able to think. These are some symptoms of a spiritual attack or being surrounded by dark reptilian energy, having the dark reptilian energy not wanting you to achieve what it is that you need to achieve, if it's positive, if it's a necessary message, if it's truth, if it's against the dark reptilian energy. So I'm feeling very serious. There's been lots of sirens in my neighborhood. The energy is, it's like a half moon. So I don't know if there's astrologers out there. I know October was predicted to be very intense, and it is energetically. We all know what happened in Israel. I'm just completely going on a tangent right now. There's been a lot of strange crimes this weekend in the city. It feels like Saturday night and it's Sunday night. So anyway, I talked to Jesus, I talked to my team. They asked me to make this tonight, even though you can see I'm obviously stressed, I'm in a mood. And so let me take off my sweatshirt. They told me to do that to lighten up the mood, and it's lightening up the mood. It's lightening me up. I have a dumb sense of humor, so I thought that was funny. I'm actually going to leave my sweatshirt on because I can feel now I don't know if I've ever said this, when I connect to spirit, I feel very cold. It feels like an air conditioner is coming up. They are all around me, my spiritual team. And I'll let you all know that when I feel like I'm being spiritually attacked, when the dark reptilian energy is close to me, I get hot. And it's not, obviously, like not the weather or the temperature. So Jesus told me I have a lot of notes from him talking to me, but he said to just ad lib, feel free to go on a tangent. You know this. I've just been very nervous. I want to represent this subject really well. I could talk to you all about what it means to be a dark reptilian and dark reptilian energy. I could come on here and probably talk to you all for about 2 hours a day. So a big stress for me is I'm a messenger, and I have been taking in all this information and so many notes, and it's been overwhelming. And I simultaneously want to edit this information, but I also want to give you all the information, because I've noticed I try to edit it down so much to make it manageable. When I look at my other videos, that there's information I'm not giving you. So, I have to balance that, but I'm just going to try. You can see that I'm tongue-tied. I am still a little bit stressed, even with my little joke. Jesus told me to do this joke. I just think it's so funny. So anyway, let's see. Before we get started, I want to, first let me tell you, if you're just checking out YouTube and you don't know who I am, like I said before, my name is Tamara. I am a Judeo-Christian medium. So I've been a medium my whole life. I've suppressed it. Then I got into tarot. I had a tarot channel. And then I ended up reconnecting with Jesus. I will end up telling all of my stories about my experiences with the other side. But I ended up reconnecting with Jesus. I've had a near-death experience. I've had outer body experiences. And then I got heavy into tarot. And I was having a good time. I was enjoying my channel. I was doing tarot every month for different signs. My views were going up, and then I connected to Jesus, and then Jesus gave me this information about reptilians, dark reptilians, all the different types of star seeds, and he wanted me to focus on this. So, oh gosh, I don't know everything. Each aspect of this is so important. Okay, Jesus is telling me just to pray. Now, many of you have asked me, how do I connect to spirit? If you're having a hard time, feel free to use this prayer and connect to my team. And also feel free, guys, to connect to whoever you feel like you're connecting to positively. So some of you will connect to ancestors. Some of you watch other channels. Some of you might connect to Admiral Ashtar. If you fall into the tall white category, it's all valid. I will in future videos talk about each of these groups too. Okay, so I'm just going to pray right now. Feel free to pray with me. I'm going to start with gratitude. That's a really positive place to start, and it really repels the dark reptilian energy. So I'd like to thank God. God is an energy that I really can't describe. It comes in as masculine for me. So he comes in as masculine. I do connect to God, but it's beyond my capacity to explain him. He's a white energy that connects, and I'd like to thank you, God. And he connects down from my right to Jesus. And thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God, for everything. Thank you, God, for life. Thank you, Jesus, for peace. And Jesus comes in a streak of like gold and silver into he's generally gold and silver, but when he's in his Pleiadian energy, he can go into indigo and a little bit purple too. Sometimes he teaches, he goes into green. But thank you, Jesus. Thank you for peace. Now, if you want to ask them, this is what they represent to me. If you want to ask them for these things, if you want to ask them for life, ask God for life, ask Jesus for peace, and thank them. So as that light is swirling down, it swirls into Archangel Michael. So Archangel Michael is here. Thank you, Archangel Michael. He always comes in as indigo, and it swirls over here for me to Archangel Metatron. Oh, and thank you, Archangel Michael, for protection. Thank you, Archangel Metatron, for entertainment. And Archangel Metatron, is very yellow, orange, and red. And as you can see, this is a rainbow, like the rainbow we have on Earth. And that's where the rainbow comes from. It comes from this higher realm of archangels. So moving past Archangel Metatron, sitting right to my right is Archangel Eric Medhus. Archangel Eric Medhus, thank you for communication. Archangel Eric Medhus connects me to this whole team, and that has been his mission on the other side. Archangel Eric Medhus is part of Archangel Uriel, but he's branched off because he's devoting himself to connecting to mediums. So please, if you think that you are a medium and you would like to talk to someone on the other side, ask Archangel Eric Medhus. And I do have to tell you all that not everyone is a medium. Yes, everyone can connect to spirit, but not in the same way. And I think most people are okay with that. Like there's a deep understanding of who you are and what your connection is. So as we're moving on, thank you, Archangel Eric Medhus, for communication. It's twofold, in front and back of me. Just it's sitting here. The energy is Archangel Gabriel, because he's in this circle. He's pretty much like across from me if I was to draw it out, but he'll sit like in front of me and behind me. Thank you, Archangel Gabriel, for acceptance. And he's saying, there's someone right now watching who really needs that. And I will make videos on acceptance. This has been really big in culture right now, acceptance. Moving on, we have an outer semicircle in front of me, and it goes up. They're saying it feels up so that I can see it, but they're saying it's more out, and that's important for energetically. Okay, it's more out. Oh, and the colors. So let's go back to the colors. So Archangel Eric Medhus is part of Uriel, Archangel Uriel, even though he's branched off. So he's comes as like indigo. And so as we go to Archangel Gabriel, remember Eric hasn't always been in this spot. Archangel, and it's a rainbow, so Archangel Gabriel, he's mostly red, and he's also he has a bit of orange and yellow too, but he's mostly red. So many of you who know my channel, who know these archangels, can probably associate the colors and the meanings of auras with these archangels. Okay, so let's move out to the semicircle, out to Archangel Sandalphon. Now there's another connection from God and Jesus in that direction too. It's all swirly. So Archangel Sandalphon generally comes in as white. Sometimes there's a little gold and silver. And I want to thank Archangel Sandalphon for intelligence. Thank you, Archangel Sandalphon. And moving on from Sandalphon is Archangel Raphael. And thank you, Archangel Raphael, for healing. Moving on from Raphael, thank you, Archangel Azrael, for organization. Moving on from Azrael, thank you, Archangel Jophiel, for magical beauty. And right here is me. I am part of Uriel. I think it's hard to explain, but I'm like a fractal of Uriel. I'm part of Archangel Uriel, but as a human. So thank you, Archangel Uriel, for my mission. That's my goal in life, that my mission is to help others with their mission. Okay, so moving on, I want to thank Archangel Zadkiel for balance. Archangel, sorry, every time he's so rambunctious. Thank you, Archangel Jeremiah, for wildness, and you just gave me a jolt of energy. Thank you, Archangel Jeremiah. And you hear the truck horn. Thank you, Archangel Jeremiah, for wildness. Thank you, Archangel Raguel, for, so now we're moving on. Oh, don't forget the colors. So now we're going back over to this side. We have red, orange, and yellow, and they're all swirling. Oh goodness, I forgot the colors over here. So it's the colors of the rainbow. It goes through Archangel Uriel. Is a mixture of indigo, white, and green. Over here is, it goes from white and silver and gold, well, gold, silver, white, to purples. And guys, it's all different shades of this. It's just like a swirl, and it swirls into from purple into indigo into green, and going back into yellow, orange, and red, as we're going over onto this side again. Thank you, Raguel, for swagger. I know that sounds funny, but we need swagger in our lives. Thank you, Archangel Raguel, for swagger. And next to Raguel, I know they're all talking. Next to Raguel, we have Archangel Ezekiel. Thank you, Ezekiel. Thank you, Archangel Ezekiel, for nutrition. Next to Ezekiel, we have Archangel Haniel. Thank you, Archangel Haniel, for sleep. And next to Haniel, we have Archangel Daniel. Thank you, Archangel Daniel, for humor. Okay, so this is my spiritual team. Not only are these the archangels, but someone must have dropped something upstairs. So not only are these the archangels, but they are galactic beings. And all together, they represent the Galactic Federation. So yes, aliens are also archangels. And how did that happen? When God was creating humanity on Earth, there were already energies, and this is too huge for me to break down right now, but there were energies and beings on other planets. So God got together with his council, which are these archangels, and created humanity here on Earth. And God got together with the reptilians, the Arcturians, the tall whites, and the Pleiadians. Now, there are many other galactic beings. There are other angels. This is my team. This is the think of it as the macro of explanation of who we are. There are admirals and shamans and your ancestors. So you could connect to a saint. You could connect to your own personal ancestors, people who you could be a parent, but I do advise you to figure out who you connect to. So like I said, maybe you're not a medium, and that's fine, because we all have our mission or life path, but you do have energy, spirit beings that you connect to, your team, your spirit guides. So feel free to talk to mine, but please connect to your own, and I will make videos on all different ways to do that. So why am I wearing a navy sweatshirt? So this is in connection to my team, my spirit, Archangel Uriel, the ocean. I will get into more detail at another time, but my spiritual team, and especially Uriel, connects with the ocean and the Navy, and I will explain that further at another time. So my team said, expect a lot of mediums to be going deeper into this sort of either branching off and really connecting to an archangel or the archangel realm, or going more into admirals and aliens and you know, either the Pleiadians, or I think you all see where this is going. So, okay, now that we have that down, so I have made videos about what it means to be Arcturian, what it means to be Pleiadian, and what it means to be a tall white, and what it means to be reptilian. Now, so please, you can go watch those if you'd like to know that first. It doesn't matter. It will help. It will help you understand this video a little bit more, but it's up to you. I saved Dark Reptilians for the end because it is incredibly challenging to talk about this. And I wasn't even strong enough to talk about this for a long time. It's scary. It's dark. This is known in every culture. We have the sirens. So it's been called the devil, Diablo, Lilith, Jezebel, narcissism, psychopathy, sociopathy, Machiavellianism. Different cultures have different words for it. It's dark. The way that it's been described to me, I've talked about it before on my channel. There is a dark reptilian energy, and there are dark reptilian people. Now, a big expression that has gone around that many people agree with and talk about is, they say, you know, the biggest trick of the devil is telling you that he doesn't exist, okay? So yes, the original spirit of the devil was more of a masculine, but remember, on the other side, the archangels are masculine and feminine. So yes, this negative entity came from the other side, is a fallen angel, and I would recommend that you watch my other videos. You can go to my playlist and look up Messages from Jesus, because I have talked about this more in detail. It will answer more of your questions. I'm going to try to go through and answer a lot of questions here, but I can't cover everything. And when I've had the combination of near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences, when I've gone to the other side, when I've astral traveled, I am given all of this information, but I can't possibly, the hardest thing for me is to break it down without being like too dry or too tangential. But you know, I wish I could just transfer my what I was told over to you guys, but I guess then I wouldn't be doing this, and this is kind of cool. So Diablo, that keeps standing out in my mind. Okay, so I've talked a lot about people throughout history who are dark reptilians. Okay, I want to go back to the biggest trick that, that the devil said, is that he doesn't exist. Okay, that is a trick that the devil has played. The dark reptilian energy has played. But the biggest trick that the dark reptilian plays is the dark reptilian energy tells the truth. So, not the full truth. Not the full truth. Dark reptilians and dark reptilian energy gets away with what they do because not only does it infiltrate everything, so everything good gets, the dark reptilian energy tries to penetrate, tries to infiltrate, tries to ruin, tries to make its own. So, sorry, that's the biggest trick, guys, is the dark reptilian energy tells the truth, just not the whole truth. Think of narcissism, think of toxic, think of gossip, think of, yes, and they're saying the dark reptilian energy recently was being uncovered, especially on the internet, especially on YouTube. And, there are other sites that you can go on that go even deeper. But what happened was the dark reptilian energy came and talked to people and also made the talking about it ridiculous. And how it did it was people started talking about shape shifting and, people looking like reptiles and scales and actually being reptiles, and lots of talking about what is it called, body doubles and I can't think of it. It's like when people come in and switch spirits and stuff like that. There is some truth to that, but I would like to just tell you what Jesus and my team told me, is that reptilians and dark reptilians here on Earth, they're not actually they don't actually have scales, and are generally, they're not able to shapeshift. That's because it got so into the odd and the physical, and that's what dark reptilian energy does too. Dark reptilian and generally also reptilian, and this is not an insult to reptilian, tend to see things with the five senses. So you're going to get stuck on, and the whole idea of it got stuck on the physicality and the strangeness of it, and the conspiracy theory part of it. And unfortunately, the whole idea of it got lost, which is the devil saying, I don't exist. Look how ridiculous this is. So where that all came from is all of us are susceptible to a dark reptilian energy. So it hangs out in the fourth dimension. It preys on humanity. It is always trying to connect with you, just as your spiritual team is always trying to connect with you. Humanity leaves doors, and it's more like holes open for it to come in when you are in a negative. Anything negative can bring it in. It can bring it into your atmosphere. It can bring it into your aura, your system, your spirit, your body. And this is why religion recommends you to do certain things. And Jesus is making a point of saying, recommends. When Jesus was here, this whole team, God gave us free will. When Jesus was here, he saw the Jewish people struggling, and he came in with suggestions from God. Jesus was and always will be a medium, and he came in with advice, with suggestions on how to make your life better. And it was to keep out the dark energy. And you can see when he was here, he was taken out by the dark energy because it got too strong around him. And he had a dark reptilian in his circle who connected that energy to him too, Judas. So Judas was a person. Judas was a tribe. Judas went on to also his spiritual bloodline went on, as others did, with dark reptilian energy in it. So this is a system that we have here on Earth, and we just have to deal with it the best we can. And if you think that you're a starseed, if you've watched my other videos, if you feel like you are Arcturian, Pleiadian, tall white, and reptilian, and now if you are listening and you feel like you're a dark reptilian, you are all talked to and susceptible to this dark energy. Now it's confusing. Starseeds can sometimes really get hammered with the dark energy, like I was today. And I'm trying to make this video. When you're trying to do something good, it just feels like an uphill battle. But reptilians, because if you watch my video, you'll understand reptilians are generally more earthly and less vulnerable than starseeds, but it makes them sometimes more vulnerable to the dark reptilian energy. So I will make videos further because I do want to explain more in detail. I have notes about what this is, and then I will make a separate video on how to protect yourself from it. Okay, so yeah, because the dark reptilian made such a mockery out of it, basically making fun of itself through humanity, people think you're cuckoo for even talking about this because it became so ridiculous. So let's talk about what the truth is in that shape shifting. So that would be a dark reptilians, either a dark reptilian person morphing themselves into what they need to be in the moment. So they're not actually like physically shape shifting, and that's what got people was like, oh, this is too much. Defies the laws of humanity. They felt that in their core. And so what I want you to think about is like narcissism, how a narcissist mirrors you, or they pretend to be what they need to be to get what they want. So that's more of the shape shifting. And the eyes, I recommend that you go through my community tab here on YouTube, and forgive me for closing my eyes, I'm connecting to my team. And that's another thing. Yeah, they're saying if you watch people on YouTube who are on the spectrum like me, on the spectrum, ADHD, that is a starseed thing. And unfortunately, we need to oftentimes close our eyes to connect to our spiritual team. But that's what I'm doing. And so that's the shape-shifting aspect of it. There are no like scales and stuff like that. I do have to say, most reptilians and dark reptilians tend to have actually literally thicker skin than starseeds. So, you know, that could sound like an insult because it, you know, thicker is rougher, but it's more protective. Reptilians are not as sensitive as starseeds. So we never would really want amongst ourselves, amongst people who are actually interested in this, and really amongst humanity, to be competitive. And dark reptilian energy is competitive. It's competitive, it's catty, it's twisted, but reptilians, which I've explained in videos on their own, not dark reptilians, are more competitive. They're less vulnerable and think more with the five senses, instead of like more abstract. And so that's where it got exaggerated into like reptilian scales and things like that. So I want to debunk that myth and debunk, you know, the really shape-shifting. So, and also being cloned, that's the word, thank you. Being cloned. Now, people are not actually being cloned. What can happen is reptilians are actually much more susceptible to this if they go dark. What happens is you open a big hole and you allow dark reptilian energy to come in. Now, I've experienced, I've been around people who have let that dark reptilian energy come in, and I can actually hear, I've had them say creepy or dark things to me, and I can hear their tone change. And I've had them tell me that they don't remember saying this, and they don't remember saying that dark thing in a dark tone. And looking back, and Jesus has told me that oftentimes that was true. Now, we all know that dark people on the narcissism spectrum do lie, but they are also vehicles for dark energy. And in that aspect, they use that oftentimes to attack starseeds. So maybe in your lifetime, you've experienced this, and I'd love for you to think about this, especially if you think you're a starseed, if you think you're here to figure out this information and help people with this and figure out, you know, spiritual connections. If you're here as a starseed who was put here to break generational curses, that put you in a position of being around dark reptilians and attracting more dark reptilians in your life because you had that hole in your spirit open. But it came at you. And I will make videos about things that people have said to me when I felt that they were sort of under this spell, under this a spiritual attack, because they get attacked too. So anything dark will bring it in, and it also pounds down on positive movements. So something could start out positive a movement could start out positive to protect people, or an organization, or even an idea, and then the dark reptilian energy will pounce on it and twist it, and then the whole thing, as humanity has been really, there's this expression in America, throw the baby out with the bathwater. When things get corrupted, they throw the whole thing away, which is why, you know, we go back and forth from like Democrat to Republican to, you know, ideas of socialism, because it all gets corrupted. So let me go back to my notes. You know, obviously, like I said, a dark reptilian is a reptilian, someone who came here just as a reptilian, which is not bad, but has gone dark. And that's a decision that God makes, and it's based on their deeds, their thoughts, their intentions, and what's in their heart. And if you'd like to see an example of dark reptilians, like I said, go to my community page, or you can go to my Instagram. My Instagram is the same as my YouTube. It's Tamra, the Judeo-Christian Medium. And so a little back to me with the Judeo-Christian, because I get a lot of questions on that, and I answer it pretty much in every video. So when I reconnected with Jesus, he told me that, you know, my spirit is Jewish and Christian, and we'll talk about that at another time. And that's this group too. And Christianity came from the Torah. So also this whole idea of reptilian, it's been passed down in many movies. I'll get into that in other videos. A good example that I always use is Harry Potter with the 4 houses, so that the house would be Slytherin. But Slytherin represents reptilians, but obviously we're talking about reptilians that have gone dark. So some of you might be thinking, well, what about starseeds? Can you be a dark starseed? Yes. Starseeds can go dark. It's completely opposite of their spirit. They're completely opposite of who they were meant to be and what they're meant to be. But if they get, you know, depending on their circumstances, they can go dark. And you've heard people talk about dark empaths. That would also be like a good description. But here now, we'll just discuss dark reptilians. So, oftentimes, this is another trajectory. Oftentimes, you think, well, how did this reptilian go dark too? Well, it's twofold. God gave many reptilians, have been on this rodeo of reincarnation. It's been over and over and over. And when they are on the other side, they say, I'm sick of this rodeo. I would like to help you, God. I would like to help the light. I would like to help you with your mission. And they go through this whole process where God says, okay, this is, it's going to be really rough because I'm going to put you in a position where you have power. You have a certain amount of, looks, energy, intelligence, what have you. I will put you in a position, and this is what I would like you to do with that position. So, for instance, I've talked about, they're all a bunch of like reptilians. People are coming to my brain, but I've talked about George Soros was put in a position. As a child, he was put in a position to, he had power as a child. So, unfortunately, as we all know, power corrupts. Now you have to understand, I don't want you to over empathize with this. I just want you to understand that, if a reptilian comes here, so what was their deal with God? They came here to be an earth angel. They came here with some extra power, some extra juice, some extra intelligence, some extra, a little bit of talent. It's not going to be the same kind of talent as starseeds, but it's enough and savvy to become an earth angel. And that would be to do deeds and tasks to serve God, just to serve Jesus, to serve this team. But what happens is, unfortunately, when they come back to Earth, Earth is a very dense planet, and it does require some toughness. Many starseeds who come here don't make it. And I've talked about that before. I will talk about that at other times. Starseeds come here on the spectrum, somewhere on the spectrum. Even the tall whites, even if they don't see themselves that way because they've masked or they've adjusted, they are somewhere on the spectrum and generally have some level of ADHD. They're different, and I would like to talk more about these differences in order to actually unify. Oh yes, that's why I made a big, thank you, Archangel Gabriel. I made a stink about acceptance, because this is another thing that the dark reptilian energy has done. It's made us afraid to point out differences because people think about me, that I'm talking about this. I'm talking about the different, putting people into different categories, that I'm saying this group's bad and this group's good, and that is that's what prevents people from actually figuring these things out. And yes, someone who has become a dark reptilian or dark reptilian energy in itself is not good. It's not good for humanity. But categorizing people into starseeds or reptilians, or even letting you all know about dark reptilians, that's not a bad thing. That's just, they're saying calling a spade, and that's for protection. Okay, so we are not on the other side. You all know what happened to Jesus when he was here. We do need protection, and I will be getting into that. But just the act now of talking about it, it can make people think that the person talking about it, the messenger, I'm a messenger, that the messenger is actually being a judge. And I am not being a judge. Jesus wasn't a judge. We're simply letting you all know how God is seeing things, how the dark reptilian, how they can see things, and it's for protection, and also it's for protection for everyone. And me being Archangel Uriel, I want people to do their mission or their life path. So I want nothing more than reptilians to be able to be reptilians and be happy with that, and starseeds be starseeds. Because unfortunately we have a lot of starseeds pretending to be reptilians and reptilians pretending to be starseeds. And that's where we just have chaos and unhappiness. And that's a big source of unhappiness. So if you're not doing what you should be doing here, you're going to not be connecting with the right people. You're not going to be connecting with the right partners. And many people, Jesus has told me, many people are praying, like, why can't I meet my twin flame? Starseeds have twin flames. If they're still alive, the twin flame, and you may have one but not be able to connect with one. But a big question is, like, why aren't things working out for me? Why aren't I meeting my soul tribe? Well, you might not be doing what it is that you came to do, and things just get really wonky. Sorry for the sirens, guys. It's very hard for you to connect with your people if you're not being your people. So if you're a starseed and you came here to teach, but you work in an office, it's going to be really hard for you to connect with your people when you were meant to be a teacher and connect with other teachers. And not only that, someone taking your place as a teacher might be reptilian, and they're unhappy because they're not connecting with their people in their comfort zone. Okay. So, many of you also know this is a planet of free will. So, the only way that this dark reptilian energy can get to you is through you opening the door. Trauma can also open the door, but unfortunately people do have trauma inflicted on them, but there's also a big protection. And Jesus is saying, a big issue with that is, if you are a starseed who came here to, say, break generational curses in your family and deal with dark reptilians, I just want to let you all know that many of you, if that is true, you came here just to do that and then not the other connections that you've made, friends, dating, that was free will. And unfortunately, some people have just met, almost like every person has been a dark reptilian, because it's just compounded. And fortunately for you, if you're watching this, you've come to this channel and other channels and you're learning about this, and God and Jesus are trying to help with this, and they're trying to send messages to, and to help humanity to break free of dark reptilian energy and be on their mission and break free of dark reptilian people. And actually, it's working. People are figuring this out, and we can see an earthly temper tantrum because the dark reptilian energy is not getting fed in with certain people and certain even though it's like a monkey on humanity's back, people are fighting this, and you can actually, it's palpable, and you can feel the dark reptilian energy trying harder. And dark reptilian energy, dark reptilian people are being more found out now through education, through people talking about the dark triad, narcissism, psychopathy, Machiavellianism. People are learning about all of this. We have the internet. You know, when people are hurt by a dark person, they're going to the internet and figuring out. But just to let you all know, narcissist dark reptilians are privy to this information too, and many of them are changing their tactics as people are learning. So you might not hear the phrases you hear. So I would love for people to really trust their own intuition and trust their connection with spirit. And if something doesn't feel right, please, they're asking you to avoid it. Don't bring darkness into your life. Vampires are an energetic, it's like a metaphor for this dark reptilian energy. Don't open your door to it. So where is this energy that comes in? It's in the fourth dimension. So my spiritual team, they've shown me they're up there from 7 to 12 dimensions. The dark reptilian energy, it hangs right in the fourth dimension. So we're in the third dimension, so it hangs right over Earth. Now, you'll hear spiritual people say that they're trying to become like fifth dimensional beings, and they can be even being here on Earth, and that's when they are connecting to spirit. And that is recommended, like meditating, and doing all that and connecting to spirit. You're connecting as a third dimensional being to fifth dimensional energy. But always, you've got to protect yourself from that fourth dimensional dark energy. And as I'm going along, I will try my best to help you all and myself protect from it. As you can see, as you saw, Jesus struggled with that. I struggled today. I've been really putting off making this video, so we're all in this together. So when a reptilian, you might be thinking like, how did they get messed up? How did they go from reptilian wanting to serve God? This is like a more powerful reptilian who made that contract. How did they go from that to a dark reptilian? Well, they experienced earthly power. And in their defense, the dark reptilian energy is feeding off of them through vices, through temptations. That's why this is in all religions, in the Torah, in the Bible, to not give in to temptation. Unfortunately, that whole idea got tainted too, where people think thou shalt not kill equals thou shalt not lie. So, okay, you're already screwed. You've messed up. You know, you're not God hates you. Da, da, da. So might as well do what you want. That's a huge trick of the dark reptilian energy, and that is not true. But we all are tempted, and it's just tempted to do something that takes us off our path, and it's daily. Dark reptilians really get tempted by power. Now you have to understand, this is a strong soul who I told you has been on this rodeo. They came here to help God, but they got a taste of this power, and it feels good, and it feels protective, and they don't like being vulnerable. So the dark reptilian energy keeps feeding it power, them power. So they get sucked in, and this is where the rest of humanity needs to help them and be aware, people close to them. The number one thing that people can't do is enable darkness. So, if you get tricked by a partner who's a dark reptilian, and you put yourself into victim energy and you enable them, well, then you're going to be abused. You're going to be overpowered, and you're also abusing the dark reptilian, because now you're taking on their characteristics. When you enable somebody who's doing dark deeds, even if they're doing them to you, if you enable that energy, you're lying to them and saying what you're doing is okay. So this is where we get the breakdown of humanity, and we get when we look back, and we're going to be looking back at this time in the future being like, oh my, how did people accept that? We have behaviors going on right now that people are accepting dark reptilian energy behaviors, that groups of people are accepting, where, if they were to look back, like we look back at the Holocaust and say, how did people accept that? Well, Jesus is saying the same energy is going on, and it's through enabling, and it's also through over empathizing, and it's also through confusion and not having support, and it just grows and it grows and it grows. And that's why we can look in New York City right now, things that are trending, that if you'd like to go back and look at my predictions, I was told all of this when I reconnected with Jesus, and I was like, oh, I can't tell people this, and I held back. I didn't really hammer it like a lot of people when they get some information, and they hammer it, and I didn't want to hammer it because I didn't want to be a conspiracy channel, a dark channel, but I do wish I had emphasized some messages more, because a lot of things have come true. If you'd like to watch my 2020 video, my 2020, 2021, 2022, etc. predictions, you can correlate them to things, and some things I just straight out said, like, this is going to happen, and it did, and you can correlate it, and some things are going to happen, but I saw a lot of craziness, and it's happening. We've got some what happened was we had some people struggling with reptilians, struggling with the dark reptilian energy feeding off of them, and well, all of humanity, frankly, and it just got ramped up. And I talked about fentanyl. I had just heard of it. I was calling it the drug starting with F, like Jesus was talking to me and I was relaying it. And that's an example. That is a crazy, crazy drug that is so toxic that it is dark reptilian energy personified, and it's gotten so out of hand that some people can just sniff it, police are finding it, sniffing it, and passing out, and it is the epitome of a substance that just represents pure dark reptilian energy, but it was made through dark reptilian energy talking to people, feeding off of them, saying, make it stronger, make it stronger, make it stronger. And then people enabling. It's gotten to the point, and I'm just using this as an example, it has gotten to the point where it was found in a daycare center in New York City, and children were breathing this in, and some got really sick, and some passed away. And it got to that level, but there were so many levels, and let's use this as an example for anything. There are so many levels to get to that level, and that group who ran this daycare, they felt empowered to do this and enabled, and it has come from just lots of movements that have been pro-drug, pro-criminal, snitches get stitches, minding your own business, back to clans, back to protect your kind, protect your race, and this is happening with all races and everywhere. It's like, you can't blanketly just protect, your kind, and that's something that Jesus has really tried to tell me is there are dark empaths, there are starseeds who are corruptible. It's not the same as what I'm talking about in this video, but you can't just, it's really hard for me to say, but Jesus has said this through other mediums, that you just can't on earth, there's no reason, there's absolutely no reason, even if you are married to, you don't have to give someone your 100% trust, meaning unconditional love. No matter what they do, it's fine. We always have to be on the lookout for each other, and love is tough love. Having someone do something very dark and not and enabling it is not love. So this is how we're all suffering because of this, and how it gets in. So dark reptilians connect to that energy, and their power grows. So think of George Soros and how his power has grown. He's just, he's an example. And he sort of, people were trying to talk about him and others, and then this whole thing got turned into conspiracy theories, and then many people have been just excused because this was considered crazy. So if any of you have ever been in a toxic relationship or with someone who has dark reptilian traits, a narcissist or more, you know that if you do try to say something about the truth of what is happening, what are their insults? That they will call you crazy, they will call you the abuser. So that happened on a collective level, and the true idea which many mediums were getting about reptilians got mocked, laughed at, exaggerated. And even like, I know people don't watch my channel because they'll say to me like, oh, lizard people, oh, ha ha ha. And then I know that they didn't watch what I'm talking about. They've just heard it before and it's been dismissed. So unfortunately, I had a real issue with Jesus asking me to talk about this, because I'm like, I was having fun talking about tarot and people's love lives, and people were like, thanks. And now I'm trying to debunk and demystify and break down what this is. And when I have to say something, guys. So when I was doing my tarot channel, I was skeptical of religious channels. I was skeptical, and I was interested in this reptilian idea and conspiracy theories and aliens, and even the big issue of trafficking. I was simultaneously interested, but then it would get into this weird area, and I did what most people did. I just, even people I admire now, I stopped watching them because they started talking to admirals. And so guys, I've had experiences with astral travel in planetary dimensions in my lifetime, and Jesus was like, you've had experiences. I've had a near-death experience where I've had a life review, and I've been told all this stuff multiple times, and I turned away thinking, these people are fooling us, and they're going into a crazy level, until I talked to Jesus again, and he's telling me there are reptilians, Arcturians, Pleiadians, tall whites. You have been healed, you have been on the ship, you have astral traveled, you've had out-of-body experiences when I'll explain that at other times. Even with all of that, and if I went over my history, I could make 100 videos on connecting to the other side or more. Just, I could make my channel about that. And I've had all of those experiences, and I turned away from all of that because I thought it was, I didn't think it was real. I just was being too like rational. I was not connecting to my own experiences, and I was like, I'm just gonna do tarot. It makes people happy and it's helping. And I was also like, I do not want to talk about this because I'm going to suffer, and I have. But that's a story for another day. But I hope, I just want to really help with this. Okay, so, okay, back to the dark triad behavior, toxic traits, going into dark reptilian territory are narcissistic traits. Okay, we've talked about that, sociopathy. So this idea, if you want to know what, you know, the expression, a dark reptilian approaches life with do unto others as you think they would do unto you. So they are thinking that everybody is like them. They need, you know, they're power hungry, oftentimes bullies, even if it's covert. And you all, I'm sure, have experienced that. Somebody who is appearing to be a good person, and they're actually covertly, underhandedly bullying you. Their expression is do unto others as you think they would do unto you if they had the power. So George Soros, it has been quoted when he helped evacuate as a child, he helped give orders and evacuated Jewish people's homes. And he's Jewish. That's a self-hatred. He was becoming dark reptilian as a child. He put himself above others, and he's excused it to this day, saying someone had, I mean, he came out and said, someone had to do it. If I didn't do it, someone else will. And so that's what people are always messaging me, like, help me. Why is this happening to me? Why are people like this? You know, why are we here? Why are people constantly like getting in my way? Well, this is what they're thinking. They're thinking, do unto others as you think they would do unto you if they had the power. But that is not true. That's not how everyone thinks. Jesus, when he was here, said, do unto others as you would have them do to you, as you would have done to you. So that's how we should be living. But many people have tried to live like this, and they've been taken advantage of or hurt by dark reptilians, or by reptilians, or even a dark starseed, or people going through something. So there are a lot of people who end up in this just middle zone where they've got out of being a victim, they're not perpetrating onto people, they've got narcissism out of their lives, but it's just this weird middle ground. And it doesn't feel good. It's like you're a bystander, and it's really a sense of hopelessness. And we've all been there. When Jesus was here, he felt that too. That's just how it feels here, like a sense of hopelessness. But Jesus would like you not to give in to that, and try to go back to do unto others as you would have done unto you. Now, this doesn't mean being a doormat, being an enabler. This is like, you know, after you remove yourself from toxic energy. This is just in general dealing with a non-toxic person or situation. And you know, I will get into in other videos of people sort of stuck in the bystander role. And so okay, just looking at my notes, some things I've actually, you know, we're talking and I don't need my notes. We've talked about this. I just wrote down, maybe you're tuning in and you're not like a majority of my subscribers who have studied this already. I just wrote down definitions of narcissism. It's grandiosity, pride, egoism, lack of empathy. It doesn't mean the person doesn't have empathy. It's just that they're not giving empathy. And some people are so damaged that they don't have empathy. And many people bring this up when this discussion comes up. Well, you know, psychologists say that people are, I'm doing that generalized person that's always like, but psychologists say, and sometimes that's in my head, I'm that person, but it's like, but psychologists say that some people are born psychopathic. Technically, that is true. I've talked to Jesus about this. Some people are born without the ability to empathize. And there are actually some people who have come out and said they've been that way, but they've actually were raised in an environment where they were just told, like, this is how you behave. This is where culture comes in, and how important this is, because there are people who have a very limited range of emotions and empathy, and they still act right. So that's interesting. So and obviously narcissism, covert is hidden narcissism, and overt is you can see it, it's obvious. And Machiavellianism, I wrote down manipulation, exploitation, lack of empathy, and a strategic focus on yourself. And all of this, as soon as people cross into toxic, a good indication they're crossing into toxic is objectification. So they're using other people as a transaction. Everything is bought and sold. Friendships for them are transactional. What can this person do for me? So not only does it create like a harsh business environment, so now we're talking about where we're getting harsh personal environments. So the neighborhood that had this child take fentanyl, this was known as a group of people from a warm-hearted place, an island, and ancestors of warmth and family-oriented, and you know, some people call that romantic or a feminine culture. But quickly over time here, and of course it happens there, but this is so counterculture to their personal culture. But it's because of this just going around and them giving into this. So, and there was an opening, and you know, many of you have asked me in my lives that I used to do, and which I stopped. Jesus told me to stop doing lives because they get lost. They don't get put into your regular feed. So if you'd like to know more about my discussions with Jesus, you know, you're gonna have to go into my playlist because they get lost. So I put them into a playlist. But so people have asked me, oh goodness, now I'm losing track of what I was originally saying. Okay, strategic self-interest. I'll get back to it. Okay, so the term for psychopathy, it's a continuous antisocial behavior, breaking rules with others, very callous, remorseless, and impulsivity. And this is on a scale. So guys, the way that I showed you that rainbow coming in, it comes down to earth, colors get darker. Sometimes we do get to see rainbows, but it goes up into a darker area, darker colors of grays and browns and thick darkness of air. And that's, we know we have expressions here, like the air was thick, it was dark. We've gotten into a huge sort of everybody wearing dark, and smoke is Dark Reptilian. It's heavy, cigarette smoke, cigar smoke, and we all know what was made legal. That's a whole video for another day. Here's some other terminology: low agreeableness, sadism. Dark reptilians get, you know, if you're asking why do they do what they do, it gets to a point where there's a German word for it, Schadenfreude, where they get pleasure from hurting others. If you've ever felt that and weren't sure, just know that that is true, that there are people and energies here that want to hurt you, that want to see you fail, that laugh if you injure yourself. And we've been shown this, guys, and Jesus is just asking that you please don't be like this, because it's for your own benefit too. This isn't just kumbaya and please help Jesus. This is for your own benefit. When you get into this dark energy, it's hard to get out, and it brings unhappiness. And if you're in a starseed, if you're a starseed and you are around people like this and you get into this, or you work in an environment like this, you will be doubly unhappy as a reptilian would be. You will not fit in, you will be unhappy, and unfortunately many starseeds that get stuck in these environments check out, and we do not want that to happen. And this is check out prevention. And one thing I want to mention too, why many starseeds, people of the light, empaths, what have you, are targeted, is there's this huge, huge goal of Jesus and God right now, and the Galactic Federation, which is why they've changed my outfit. The goal is to stop trafficking, and especially trafficking of little people. And that is one of the number one goals of dark reptilians and dark reptilian energy, is to keep that going. So that even was starting to be considered conspiracy theorists. And I didn't want to touch that subject with a 10-foot pole, but I was sort of slowly, as many mediums and even tarot readers, and now even people in the narcissism community, it's like everyone's starting to get the same messages and talking about the same things, and it's all leading to this. And I'd like to make a video on Ricky Martin. I remember him talking about this, making people gasp on Oprah in the 80s, talking about this. So, oh goodness. So this is big, guys, when many of you like me were like, oh, I want love and light, and I just want to meditate, and I want to use crystals, and I want to do more tarot. This is working, and I'm getting truth here. We didn't want to connect with all of this. This is big, but unfortunately we have to. It's a part of our time, what's going on right now. So back to just reptilians, there's a natural urge to protect themselves. And their family, their clan, their culture, their country, their team. This is how they differ from starseeds, generally seeing friends as competitors. A natural starseed will see friends as family. A natural starseed will really want to branch out and learn other cultures and kind of feel this oneness, at least until, unless they're extremely corrupted. It's the natural, what the origin was. And yes, many of you have asked, like, why are there reptilians, and why doesn't God step in? And reptilians are very valid here, and we need reptilians to do certain kinds of work. And God got together with the reptilians to create humanity. And reptilians, I don't want to say regular, it's just like reptilians or dark reptilians. Reptilians make up 50% of the earth. Like, they are needed. So, okay. I've been asked this because the Pleiadians come from the Pleiadians. Arcturians come originally from Arcturus. The tall whites, they come from both the Pleiadians, Arcturus. It's all like, they're all like hanging out together, helping each other. These other planets are very sort of positive, more positive and proactive. But if you want to know where the original reptilian energy came from, Jesus told me it's from Mars. So those of you who know, you know, like if you can put it all together about Mars, the energy of Mars, David Bowie sang about Mars. I can put all that together in another video, but they're talking about, when I look off to the side, they're talking to me this whole time. We're talking back and forth. They're talking about, sorry, a message just came in too. I'm so sorry, you guys. You know I have ADHD and I'm dealing with a lot of energies, like David Bowie's chirping in. Not chirping, David. David Bowie's a tall white. He's like a parent of mine, parental energy. I didn't mean to. He's laughing. So, okay, let's get back to yeah, guys, we're different. Starseeds and reptilians just in general are different. Then you go into the dark reptilians and we get really different. Okay, but moving on. You can see how a reptilian would be corrupted into being a dark reptilian by gaining power. Now, this power that the dark reptilian energy on the other side gives them, it's fleeting, which is why you'll see people who are power hungry always need more. It doesn't make them happy. In fact, sometimes you can see people who you're like, they have it all. Why are they so unhappy? Because that energy is not, it's not joyful. It's not happy. And they actually want to hurt people who are joyful. And they keep trying to go back to their original source of feeling that power, which is competition, abuse, power on its own, and culture. How can they get that? And they get it through relationships, through duping people, through faking, through using people, through a big thing now that's turning reptilians into dark reptilians is this whole idea of Hollywood and talent, and because it makes so much money and internet fame, these people get so, they think that these people have so much power and they're getting so much attention. Reptilians, well, dark reptilians, not reptilians. Reptilians do love, and they love their family. They're just more clannish, more competitive, and a little rougher than starseeds. But dark reptilians, they also feed off of jealousy. They are very jealous of starseeds, and starseeds with talent and intangible things like joy, which is definitely a thing that neurotypicals, which I'm gonna say mostly, and this is gonna be just a tough one because so many people don't know that they're on a spectrum, because it's defined differently by Jesus, or they've hidden it. It's been crushed out of them for so long. But a big difference between a starseed and even a reptilian, especially a dark reptilian, is the amount of emotion and joy that they can feel from like music and just That's why you'll see young autistic kids like flapping their hands or shaking. Even Jesus told me even hand signals like this is very starseed, very autistic, and this and this, it comes from starseeds having so much energy in their body of experiencing like joy or listening to a song and going like that, going like this, just going like that. It's like these are hand signals that are used on the other side, and a lot of the energy comes through hands. That's why they call autistic kids happy hands. Dark reptilians, guys, think that that's so strange, and they're also jealous of it. So if you're ever upset that you feel like you're an overly sensitive starseed, just know like there's benefits to that. Compared to a reptilian or even a dark reptilian, you're probably a super taster. And that might be why you eat vanilla ice cream all the time instead of chocolate, or you love potatoes. Like just simple things. You're like, you have a dark reptilian and a starseed eating the same meal. Like a starseed is going to be like, oh my God. Oftentimes reptilians and dark reptilians just it's not that they don't have like taste buds, they're not as sensitive. So oftentimes if something looks like it's supposed to look, they honestly might not know the difference. They're not faking it. Like, this is how, mediocre food stays popular. And even, there are some New York slices of pizza that look delicious that are really terrible. But many people don't care. They're not super tasters. There's a huge controversy going on with Smash Burger, or what is it called? Mr. Beast, not Smash Burger. That Dark Reptilians took over his company, and the food looks the same, but it doesn't taste good. But it's just been a long time, like years, that they're still selling this food. And Mr. Beast is a starseed. He's trying to get out of this, and unfortunately he let his business get taken over by dark reptilians, and the food looks like cartoon. It looks real. It's real, but it's bad. The quality is bad. And that's what happens. The dark, even just a reptilian running a restaurant may not understand, subtle differences in flavors. And that's a whole thing. So, okay, moving on, just going through my notes here. I'm probably going to have to make another video. I will make more videos on this amongst other things, but okay, so what happens, say, the scenario where a reptilian makes a deal, a contract to come here to do good deeds with their power to become an earth angel, and they actually become a dark reptilian. Many people say, what happens to narcissists? What happens to toxic, to when people who are here? Well, when they go back, they get a really they get a life review that's very painful. They feel all the pain that they've ever caused. So I told you all that I had a life review. It started on the other side and it finished here. It was so I'm gonna say even it was traumatizing. So I actually had a dark night of the soul before really fully reconnecting with Jesus. That got me pushed in a different direction and getting on here and doing tarot. But Jesus said, my dark night of the soul, which is many people are asking for spiritual enlightenment, and then they go through a dark night of the soul. And what that is starting to do your life review while you're alive. So I started mine on the other side and then worked it out here. And it was incredibly painful, but that's what toxic people will feel on the other side. And in mine, you know, a narcissist is good. Everything that they've done is they're going to feel it. So there's that, but they're going to want to right the wrongs. Well, we all do this, but people want to know, particularly, they've been burned by a narcissist. They want to know what they go through. So if they are reptilian and they're, you know, they were dark reptilian here, but if they're not, they feel that love on the other side and they stay and they want to help the light. But reptilians are actually the most earthly and they feel more comfortable on earth. Do not let that be a judgment. That's their deal. And so they really want to come back. And they also want to right the wrongs. So, and sometimes in order for them to come back, they have to right the wrongs. They have a contract. So just say you knew a reptilian here that hurt you and they were actually very successful. They will come back not as successful. So a reptilian that comes here with the power to be an earth angel, they had already started going in that direction in other lifetimes and they were given that trust. So I hope I'm explaining the difference between those two. So I wouldn't say that's punishment per se. And then there is this whole place that people go to, you know, when people talk about like hell. That's a whole thing for another day. There is a dark, sometimes people do get trapped in that fourth dimension. And I'll just give you guys advice if your spirit could remember, like if you ever, you know, get taken out really quick and you get stuck there, it's really as simple, and this is in religions, just to call out to Jesus. Just keep saying Jesus, Jesus, and you will get taken out. I don't want to scare anyone. It's not something that people need to worry about. Dark reptilians who don't believe in an afterlife or God or Jesus, they can get stuck in that place, not forever, but it's of their own doing, and I will talk about that at another time. So as we're going through, Yeah, I guess people would call that karma. Some reptilians that are going in a direction of dark reptilians, along with star seeds. If you're going in a wrong direction, you can experience accidents, near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, supernatural experiences, and sometimes they're not punishments, and sometimes these happen to people anyway. So I'll explain that at another time. Sometimes it's just to get you on track. Sometimes it's part of your contract, like you asked for that. Another way that reptilians and actually dark reptilians are confusing to star seeds is they really value the intelligence of tall whites, and they don't have that same sort of intellectual talent, but can be intelligent. But they will mimic tall whites often are very they appear to be self-preservating, and so that's where sometimes reptilians, especially dark reptilians, will do that sort of fake voice where they're trying to just always be like logical, analytical, like not showing emotion, thinking that they're superior, that with in a heavily masculine, we call it masculine, but Jesus is saying a big part of being dark reptilian is going back to that Jezebel energy, the Lilith energy. It's actually a little bit more of a dark feminine energy, as if you know the difference between feminine and masculine energy. Feminine is a receiving energy, which if it goes into a dark area is a taking energy. So even if someone is masculine, if they are dark reptilian, they're not in their masculine energy. It's confusing, but if you think about someone that is hurting other people to gain power, it's not masculine. Masculine is protective. So they are out of their masculine energy. And Jesus is saying it's creeped into our culture, even in a small way, of like any man who is in his masculine energy, he is the masculine, even if he's not straight, if he's trying to act like, if he was meant to be masculine, but he's kind of acting like, it's really hard to explain. So we'll just use an example of a straight guy. A straight guy who is trying to ride on this dark feminine energy, like trying to be like princessy in a relationship. That's going into a dark reptilian energy, and that's not going to work out well for anybody involved. A masculine energy that's acting very feminine like that and not protective, is just going to be unhappy and bring unhappiness to all of those around him. And I'm not talking about someone who was born in the wrong body, who knows they're a feminine energy, or someone who is not heterosexual. Like, it's very hard to explain. If someone is, their spirit is supposed to be masculine, their spirit, not their body, not their, yeah. So if the truth is that their spirit is masculine and they are acting feminine to gain power, yeah, that's not good. They won't be happy. I wrote a joke here from Jesus. Obviously, throughout history, people have made fun of mediums, made fun of Jesus. He was a medium. The disciples were mediums. They were healers. Made fun of us because we believe in ghosts, and ghosts aren't real. And you know, it's been very religious people now are, you know, many are anti-connecting to spirit. And that was done by the Dark Reptilian energy, making people fearful of connecting to spirit. Like, oh, you can pray, it's just you can't hear anything back. That's wrong, that's bad. And there's no such thing as like ghosts or spirit. Jesus made this joke, and I think it's pretty funny. He said the preachers will say like, there's no such thing as ghosts. And then Sunday in church, everyone says, well, the preacher or the pastor says, let's pray. Crosses himself and says, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Like, what? You say there's no such thing as ghosts. Okay. And that's another thing too. You know, we're going to go over things that got passed down in the Bible and what actually happened. I'll make videos. Or, you know, this is what I've been told. So the Dark Reptilian energy that would like to make all humanity like itself, you know, people think why? And it's jealousy. It's jealousy that we are God's children, that we have love from God, that we can experience good emotions along with the bad, that we still have some hope, faith. A good way they're getting through is they're really positioned now in position of conning people who are talented, and some of them just don't know, like, you know, reptilians, there are things, even if they're just reptilian, not dark, that shouldn't be in charge of, you know, a starseed's talent, because they really can't. They really, you know, they can see something that moves them, but if they don't have the talent, they should not be in charge of, and a lot of them try to convince very talented people that they're not talented, if they can, before, you know, the world tells them like, oh, you really are talented. The Dark Reptilian energy is really trying to get in there and squash people's talents and their intellectual talent too. They try to convince people that, you know, everyone's the same. Someone who has an incredible singing voice sounds like just someone who doesn't. Jesus said when he was here, and it sounds so innocent and just, he said, I want to walk side by side with you. And that's like this, it's really hard to explain the word equality, because that's really gotten that the dark reptilian energy has really gotten a hold of that too. He meant it in like this, I'm not going to try to have power over you. I'm good at this, you're good at that. I'm a messenger, you're this. Let's talk. So trying to explain that, but I can see as I'm explaining it that the dark reptilian energy took that energy of like being equal to being powerful, actually. Like when it's filtered into people saying like, I want to be equal, but they're really just saying like, I want the power. And a huge trick the dark reptilian energy did on the feminist movement is, it's so crazy, and the dark reptilian energy is just laughing at this, is that women actually it started out well, that like there are, you know, talented, intelligent women who were not able, because of dark reptilian energy, able to do their mission, and that somehow got turned into everybody has to be masculine, like to survive in the workplace, and everybody has to work and it has to be masculine, and you fought for this, and you have to, you know, there's so many people who are saying that they're feminist and they're like purposely, you know, dressing masculine, wearing their hair masculine, lowering their voice, being super aggressive, and they're saying they're fighting for feminism. So it's wacky. Now, if someone's wants just respect because they're a masculine and a feminine body, that's different. This is like people who aren't that way, that they were actually born feminine and they're fighting really hard to act masculine, which is the opposite of feminist. You can see how crazy this is all getting, but this is how, you know, Jesus is just asking people to be critical thinkers, and that you're not going to always get it right, and there is nothing foolproof. Like the dark reptilian energy will always be here. You can see how connected I am to my team. And I'll get into why. And I'll get into my past lives and things like that. But as someone who came here to do this work and other kinds of work, I've really have to struggle to keep the dark reptilian energy away from me. And I'll talk about that more in the future and how you can do that. Okay, so I've talked about, dark reptilian people, but the energy that Jesus is saying is what's going on now. He's saying it's gone on in the past. How it can trip people up now is like in some of the less obvious things. It manifests itself into policies, procedures, insurance, taxes, red tape, preventing growth, exhausting people, pettiness. It makes all these things, these henpecking procedures that people are going through is making everyone so tired and miserable, and it starts this cycle when people are in this tired, miserable cycle from being overworked with all these like little petty details of competition, which is the basis of the dark reptilian energy. Fierce competition in everything, that places where competition doesn't need to be. Like if you're a nurse, there shouldn't be any competition there. You're supposed to be helping people. You should all be on the same team. But this sort of pounding away at people, not only does it bring darkness into your life, and it's taking your life force, which is what the dark reptilian energy is there for. It's not only just taking your life force, but it's leaving you open to addictions and temptation, just to do things that will further destroy you. So this is how the dark reptilian energy is getting people now. And dark reptilians themselves like to make people sick with all of this red tape, and with food, neglect, lack of peace, war, lack of sleep, malpractice, lying by omission, overworking, overloading, and just with guilt and accusations, calling people bad employees, making people do more and more, jump through more hoops. We'll see that as like, people talk about it's normalized to like eat at your desk, and sort of this downward spiral of civility. That's a dark reptilian energy. Taking other people's money from their talent, their labor, getting into these arenas of being a producer or being the overlord of talented people and taking from them. Accusations, like Amber Heard and the pointing fingers. And so this is a twofold dark reptilian energy, accusing an innocent person, and then people who have experienced that sort of abuse not being believed because people are abusing that. Living with a dark reptilian, guys, it's like living with a human tabloid. So they're going to take something you do or say and just spin it. They're like spin doctors. They will exaggerate it, and people will see you and see that they're partially correct, And so they'll think that they're fully correct. And that's an energy going on right now all throughout the world. So how to also see a dark reptilian energy. They are someone who is bored. They're bored because of their lack of emotion. They're not feeling the stress that other people are feeling, and they oftentimes will start drama. And they get power through hurting people and having power over others. So you'll just see this insatiable need for power and lack of true connection to other people. They like to mirror people, isolate them. And they try, the energy itself is trying to also work through people, work through reptilians and whoever will latch onto it. You're gonna see, you probably have seen just a lack of privacy. Now, this isn't about having like HIPAA privacy with your medical things, which is also, you're just gonna notice, and once you see this, it's hard to unsee. Like your food orders are all called out. Oftentimes, even going to the doctors, your full name and phone number is called out. Oftentimes, your medical conditions are called out. And when you go to purchase something, you go to buy, you'll notice there's no offices anymore. It's like, and also this, whatever's going on the internet is happening in real life. So people are just saying things to people that shouldn't be said out loud. And they're showing me like going into the Apple store. It's like someone screams out like, "How can I help you?" And you just naturally say back. Now everybody knows what you want, what you're doing, what kind of phone you're buying. There's really like a lack of privacy that's happening, and that's a very dark reptilian energy. Pettiness, vindictiveness, invalidating, nitpicking, bringing you down. A big way that dark reptilian energy is feeding off of humanity through others is people wasting your time. That's what, we're hearing this over and over, like couples wasting time, and people married to dark reptilians are like, this person didn't love me for 20 years. It's a huge time waster. Stealing ideas and then watering them down. You can see that in Hollywood. These ideas being regurgitated over and over and over. And Jesus has said also, like, sitcoms like just beating the sensitivity out of people. And I love sitcoms, like the humor, and I like The Office and shows. I like shows too, but it's just the dark reptilian energy really got in there, and it's affecting humanity with how, like, you're not really supposed to act like that in real life. The dark reptilian energy has come through with this whole, like, the I'm not fake attitude of, like, I'm not fake, I'm gonna tell you like it is. And then the person insults you. They don't even probably know you, or even if they do and they're embarrassing you and they're saying like, oh, I'm not fake like they are in California. I'm going to tell you like it is. And it's like, well, no, you're not really telling me like it is, because you don't know all of my good and bad aspects. You're just being a bee, and you're saying it's because you're honest. So there's that whole thing. That's how dark reptilian energy has seeped through. Okay, so one thing that Jesus is saying started off positively is, you know, with the younger generations, they're really protecting themselves and at work, and they want to get back to unions, and they want to get paid fair wages. But Jesus is saying we won't be like, that movement will not work until people at work are protecting the other employees too. So you're just as invested as protecting your coworker, as invested as protecting the client. So, you know, if you've gotten to a point where you and your age group are, now you're at, say you got to a point, hypothetically, you get to a point where you're all like being treated better at work and better wages, better vacation, all this. It's still going to be dark until like people refuse to abuse clients. Jesus says it has to go that far. Don't stop, like always be, you know, protective and working for the light, but you know, it's basically the idea of, if you're just protecting yourself, you won't be able to. Everyone's got to look out for each other, and that's something that a lot of young people don't realize, is that it's still going to negatively affect them if the clients are negatively affected. And unfortunately, it's because many have grown up in an environment where it's very dog eat dog, and they're told it should be that way. So they're like, okay, I'm going to protect myself. So just to recap, guys, dark reptilians are reptilians who went dark, and they're getting a lot of power and energy from the dark reptilian energy on the other side, which was created originally from a fallen angel, and just many dark reptilians doing this feedback loop and letting that energy gain power. And this energy and people have infiltrated everything from nonprofits to church, spiritual leaders, hospitals, dreams, pendulum readings, which is why, you know, if you feel called to do the pendulum, then, you know, you're doing mediumship, which is wonderful, but just protect yourself. The same with tarot. And this is why there have been passages that ended up in the Bible of just religious people saying, just don't do this. There's no ghosts, there's no other side, there's no there's just heaven and hell, there's no coming back here, there's no karma. They just said no to everything, so that they thought that it would help humanity protect itself. But really, it's made many people closed off from their own connection with their intuition, their higher self, and their ability to make change and to work for the light. You know, Jesus has told me there are many people who are treating themselves very badly, doing very negative things to themselves and others, and saying, I'm waiting for Jesus. And that's not working out, because that's not a thing. We'll get into that another time. A very popular way that dark I will do a video on that. Dark reptilians are really reeling people in is with an overly positive cheerleading type persona. They are mocking the enthusiasm and joy of star seeds. They're imitating starseeds' joy, starseeds' enthusiasm. Many of you have heard of love bombing, and it's very sick. So love bombing is the beginning stage with more overtly narcissistic people will they'll actually see things about you and, you know, really exaggerate it and tell you that that's why they're falling in love with you. It's called love bombing. It's a bomb of showering you with fake love. And so what they're actually doing is there are star seeds on this earth. I'm one of them, Mr. Rogers, people who are here to see potential in others and tell them about it. And the dark reptilians have latched onto that, and that's how they'll get people into cults, into relationships, by using what I said in the beginning of this video, a kernel or partly truths or actual truths. And that gets starseeds too. That sucks in starseeds, empaths. Is like, narcissists will tell the truth. They're seeing things about you. And now Jesus is talking about the bystanders, the people who are just shut down. Unfortunately, we have dark reptilians over here, empaths here, and then people in the middle who have just shut down the energy, good and bad, coming out of them. So unfortunately, so Jesus has said, to be a human, to be a soul, because you get mirrored on the other side, you get feedback. To be here, to be healthy, you need feedback. You know, no man is an island. We need feedback. So what is happening now is people aren't getting enough feedback in their lives, and even like babies and children are growing up without somebody mirroring back to them what their positive qualities are, and even truth. Like, you know, a big thing of narcissism is an event will happen and a narcissist, you know, or they'll do something to someone and they'll say, oh, that didn't happen, or it didn't happen like that, and if it did, it's not a big deal, and if you think it's a big deal, then you're just being, and it goes on and on and on and on. So people, we're in a time of just deception where it's not as obvious as it was in days past. It's crippling and insidious, and it's just people walking around not being proper mirrors, not showing empathy. A lot of it is out of fear. A lot of it is people are dark reptilians, or they're reptilian and just protecting themselves with an outer shell, or they're, you know, abused empaths, and they can't handle any more drama. So, you know, that's not a way to live. In fact, Jesus says it's like what Nostradamus said is, and with the fentanyl and the drugs and everything, it's like all together, humanity is becoming zombies. And this has been prophesized, and I'll talk more about it. But it is a dark reptilian energy that's working through people to basically just mind F people. And we're in just a time where a lot of people are just like, I don't know what's true. And all I can say is keep watching channels that you feel you resonate with, and they're bringing you truth. I wish I could come on more. I'm very busy. I will try to come on more. I could talk every day for hours about all kinds of new things. I'm going to try to make more videos, but you know, seek out people that you resonate with and you feel truth from. And Jesus says, you know, many aren't always 100%. Don't expect 100% like of agreement with your soul. It's okay. Just you know, Jesus is saying, don't give up hope. And many people are worried about the end of humanity. Please don't worry about that. You know, that's not going to happen anytime soon. And I mean, the absolute worst case scenario is that people would go back to their prospective places, which is really their happy place anyway. So, and that's not advising anyone to leave this place, because you want to be here. It took a lot of effort for God to put you here, and yourself to put you here. So it's not that. It's saying like, Earth isn't going anywhere. Like, the absolute worst case scenario is if humanity left. You know, we're all going to go to that other place, but Earth itself will not let itself, God will not let Earth destroy it. And this is not, you know, an excuse like you can't, you know, don't hurt the Earth, saying like, oh, you know, Earth is not going to be destroyed. It still could go in a negative direction. Now we have free will. Jesus is talking through myself and others. It could be you could have a channel, you could just talk to people. You could be the wacky one at the office. But, you know, and even all of that, even the environmental movement, all this stuff, I'll break down all of these in the future as to, don't give up though, guys, because just because something has been corrupted doesn't mean there's not good in it. And that's been a big thing that Jesus has been talking to me about lately, is that two things can be true at the same time. Now, this is just getting so long, and some of you might think that's good, some of you not, but that it is what it is. Like I said, I have so much more to say, but I'm gonna go, and I will be making more videos about this. I guess I think I'll probably make a whole separate video on earth angels, people who come here as reptilians who want to become an earth angel. I'll make a video, but I'll probably even make more videos about dark reptilians. But anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I really appreciate it, and I hope this resonates with you.